So welcome everybody. Doing a little different style video today. I have Jacqueline here with me, and we're just going to be talking about Jacqueline's experience in the Higher Consciousness Shift program. So to begin with, Jacqueline, could you just briefly introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Jacqueline. I live in Barcelona, Spain, and I started Sunny's program third week of October, I think, and now around third week of December. So I'm coming up to around 2 months.
Yeah.
And it's really amazing. It is really nice.
I'm very happy to hear that. Could you share a little bit about your experience before you joined? I'm curious as to, what were you going through? What made you even interested in joining a program like this?
So I had been doing spiritual work for a very long time, and I was very familiar with sort of the inner work, the healing work, the law of attraction piece. So all of that was kind of very familiar to me. And at the same time, I felt like I hit this wall somehow, that emotions were still coming up, and all the things I was healing, I thought I was done, I healed it, and then it kept coming back. So it was clear to me that I somehow ended up in this standstill somehow spiritually. That all I've done, I'd done a huge amount of work, and then still there was something that just felt very out of balance, and there was still the positive emotions feeling good and negative emotions feeling terrible, and then just alternating between the two. And before I joined your program, it was really a time when I somehow internally made this decision that I wanted to be at peace. Somehow peace became more important for me. And I looked at my life and I thought, I don't want to have this. It's great. It's terrible. It's great. It's terrible. But I wanted to somehow get a hold of myself internally. I wanted to find something that's more permanent, or something where I can get settled and not be so pulled by the things that happened around me and circumstances and people and all that.
I remember the first time we spoke, it was actually a great focus in our conversation about the healing process as well. You know, how many people who get into these teachings, the more we go into the healing process and we're trying to work on ourselves internally, it's like the more you do, the more healing there is still left to do. You know, we always still somehow feel broken, somehow feel like there's still more to progress towards. And I remember you sharing that earlier. So at that time, what made you, in what way did you feel stuck, right? And it may be perhaps stuck in that identity of the broken one, needing to heal. What was holding you back from actually, being at peace?
It started for me in as I was going to certain workshops and these places, and I met these people, and then you think you're doing something great for yourself because you're healing an old trauma, or you're healing a wound from the past, but actually then you hear these stories and you look into your own stories, and that's what I did, of like, okay, something happened 20 years ago, or something, or there was a thought 10 years ago, and then it's just, after a while, we go there because we think, oh, it's like this big trauma and we have to heal it. It's very serious. And so we go there and we keep going there and we keep going there. And after a while, it just hit me of this question of like, how much healing does it take to move beyond this? Yeah. Like, how long do I need to do 10 years more healing, or 20 years more healing, or 2 weeks more healing? And then I also met other people who were doing a lot of healing of all trauma, things that happened when they were 15 and now they were 65. And it's just, you look at it and you're wondering, what are we doing here? So there was something, I guess there was this, I don't know, maybe an intuition, or some sort of inner knowing in me that said that this moment is clean, like this moment is new and it's a clean slate. And okay, something happened to me, or I had a limiting belief, or something traumatic maybe even happened, but that was such a long time ago. That has nothing to do with the person that's here right now, the adult, the mature woman, the this moment is not directly linked to that moment that happened so long ago. And so I guess that was the place where I was looking more and more, that I said to myself, there is a point when I have to stop this. Like there's not, because in the beginning we think that the more we go there, the more we heal. It's almost like it's a tank and it can run out.
Yeah.
And if you heal enough, it's gonna go away. And over time, I personally realized that it doesn't actually go away, because by me going there, I'm regenerating it. Because in my
The
belief,
identity. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
that in my belief that I was actually wronged, or in my belief that I was abused or I was hurt in any way, I am reinforcing the little self. I'm reinforcing the one who can be hurt and can be taken from and can be left and can be betrayed. So so I couldn't, before I joined your program, I couldn't really articulate it this way, but I guess there was something internally that was saying, like all this has to stop. At some point it has to stop, and it's not going to stop on its own, and it's not going to stop because you have been going there long enough, but it's just going to stop when you stop it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the work that we've been doing. So rather than healing, actually going past the level, the realm of the identity, the need to heal. So
That's right.
we've been working on level prior to mind, prior, because all trauma, all hurt exists in the mind. And so we've been opening ourselves up to the recognition of our essential nature that is already prior to that, unaffected, undamaged by the happenings of experience. So how has that been for you so far? So how has that changed perhaps the emotions or the thoughts or the story that continues to maybe resurface? Does it still continue to come up? Is it coming up less and less? And when it does come up, if it does, how do you go about it? How is it now affecting you? What's your relationship to it?
Mm-hmm. It is something that is very difficult to articulate, but I'm going to try. The impact that I notice, and there's so much since I joined, and it's only been 2 months. But one of the things that I notice is that I am so much more present. I'm like not even double or triple. I don't even know, like 100 million times more present. So that when something happens, it somehow, I feel that the work I'm doing with you is somehow breaking this this automated response between something that's happening out here and my identity. I feel that before it was like just one string totally connected. And so everything was a big deal, because if this happened, that meant something about me, or that meant something about my future, or about what's possible, or about who I am. So everything out there was so directly linked to a certain kind of an identity in here, that everything was just very stressful, like the way we live in normal life, that, that can't happen, I can't let that happen, I can't say that, I can't do that, why are they doing this? So everything is just this, like you're constantly scanning and you're trying to control everything in life. That's exhausting. And now what I feel is, when something happens, it's more like, okay, it happened, and then it's very easy to just look at it and just simply go, like, it's one of the things that happens, and so how do I want to respond? This way? Okay, fine. And very often it doesn't even enter into that mental realm of like consciously thinking, what do I want to do or respond?
It's more so a spontaneous response.
Yes.
Just this space that exists between what I am and what is happening, what is arising in consciousness, not having so much of an effect, not having, not registering as strongly. So that's beautiful to hear. And what about in regards to inquiry itself? So obviously most of this work is done through inquiry. We are really inquiring into the one that either needs healing. We're inquiring into the one that is triggered. So how has that been for you in regards to inquiry? Are you seeing things become clearer? Is the entire process itself, the practice itself, becoming clearer to you?
Yes, absolutely. In the beginning, when I joined, I had so many different questions about that. And I felt most of the time, I felt like, I think I'm doing the practice, but I don't know if I'm doing it right. I don't know exactly what I'm doing. But I kept with the practice. And I think that was very good, because you made it very clear in the beginning that it doesn't really matter if you understand, doesn't really matter if you have questions, you just do your practice and that's it. So I did my practice, and what I notice now is the way I experience it at the moment is that if I ask myself the question, who am I? Nothing comes up. And that's to me, that's a big shift, and it's a big discovery, because before, if someone would have asked me, it would have been, I am this and I am that, and I am not this, I am this. So there were lots of very specific ideas that I could articulate with words of, this is who I am and this is who I'm not. And now when I do that practice, it's just there are no words coming up. There are no mental concepts of this and that, and that just when I do inquiry, I just feel this space. It's difficult to put it into words.
And
But
I remember you said on one of the previous calls that the need to cling to an object of awareness as myself is sort of being seen, that's the tendency, and it's being cleared up more and more.
Yes, yeah.
So that's very, very good to hear. What about the program format? How has that been for you? The format in which we conduct the teaching and deliver the process. Do you feel supported? Is this something that you feel is the optimal way to deliver this teaching in this way?
Yeah, absolutely. So I really loved how in the beginning there's an online course part. So there are teachings and there are modules to go through, and I really like that. I personally really enjoyed that it's not broken down to weeks and days. So it's not kind of forced on me how long I need to spend on something. Because to tell you the truth, some things came very easy for me, and it was super easy to understand, and I was just kind of flying through. And there were some things when I really needed to take my time, and I reread them, and I redid the exercises and all that. So I really like that there's that part, because that I think in the beginning it is important for also the brain to kind of understand. Yeah. And that part, this first part, is really helping to bridge the gap between the energetic awareness, which we are learning about, but also for the brain, which is going, what's going on? What is this? What is this whole thing? So that was very helpful. But to me, what really makes the big difference is that we have access to you on a weekly basis. And you're always very quick to answer questions, either in the Facebook group or on the calls. And on the calls are just super amazing. Like, even when I don't have a question, I get so much out of it. The questions are similar week on week, and yet they are, in a very subtle way, also different. So also listening to other people's questions and where they are stuck in their process, it's super helpful for me as well.
Because truly the mental conflicts and the imaginary obstacles that we sort of find ourselves stuck in or identified with are quite similar, person to person. So yes. It's beautiful to hear that that's been helping. So just lastly, who do you think would benefit from this, right? What type of people, like, who would you recommend this to?
I think in a way, everyone. Honestly, as I'm going through your program, I have this feeling that this should be part of how we grow up, really. Because we learn about so much in school, and there's so much knowledge coming at us, but we don't really learn about our humanness and how, the mind works and who we are, this sort of thing. But I think beyond that, very specifically, I think everyone who is tired of the up and down, and now I feel amazing, and now I feel terrible, and now I'm happy because things are going well, or now I'm really depressed because things are going terribly. So whoever wants to find some sort of a solid ground in their own life, whoever wants to feel peace, And whoever wants to really live spirituality, to me, that's what this program is also about, that you can read spiritual books and you can go to so many different workshops and do so many different practices, but it's only when you know who you are in your everyday life is when you really are living spirituality. And I think it's wonderful to experience that you can live your normal life, you do your normal human things, and at the same time do it from a different place. And there's so much peace there, there's so much love there, there's so much connection there. So I think everyone who wants to experience that and not just read about it in a book, but to make it their own.
Yeah, that's beautifully said. I think there's this quote that I always remember by Nisargadatta Maharaj, when someone said to him, you know, I feel at peace, and he asked them, is it the peace of having what you want, or is it the peace of not wanting what you do not have?
Mm-hmm.
It is to have that second sort of peace, that it's not a feeling, and one must have a total different understanding of themselves, coming from a much deeper knowing of where their true position is in order to be an experience and maintain that sort of peace. So it's really beautiful to hear that you've explained it in that way as well, and that, you know, that's sort of more and more becoming prominent in your experience. So
Absolutely.
thank you so much. Yeah.
I just wanted to say that I actually had the exact same experience this week, that I was about to go to a meeting, and then there was like the normal thing before happening in me, which was, oh, it would be so amazing if this outcome happened. And then, you know, preparing for that and all that. And then in the next moment, I just noticed that there was the thought come in that what if you're going to get the other outcome? And I just felt very, very at peace with it. And then I just thought, this is exactly what this work is about, to be at peace no matter what, and not be so dependent on things being in a certain way, but to source your peace and source your love and source your connection from your real being and not from your circumstances.
And we somehow sometimes feel that that way will lead to a sort of more chaotic existence, where paradoxically, that is what allows the true spontaneity, the authenticity, just the sort of the free, effortless way of living that we all, you know, are trying to create through mental means, through trying to achieve this and that, you know. So it's lovely to hear. Thank you so much for sharing and being with us today.
Yeah, really, that's okay. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Take care.